I fear that my eyelash glue is contributing to my eyesight declining.
I could see that. I think that's a fair assessment.
I've been putting chemicals very close to my eyes for years.
Yeah.
Every day. So
I'm aware. Anytime you've ever been like, hey, oh, will you be fun? Like, why don't I put like makeup or like something on you? It always ends at the eyelash thing. It's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Putting glue on my eyelids is just something that sounds terrifying to me. I can't do that.
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people don't really like it, but I'm just so used to it because I've been doing fake eyelashes since I think I was like 15.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for over a decade of my life now. So
you're at that age now where things start being like, hey, majority. Like I've had arthritis in my knee for most of my life.
Most of your life.
Which is the oldest thing about, one of the many old things about me. The other very old thing about me is I noticed, by the way, are we starting the podcast over now?
Sure.
Okay. I noticed something. So this past week, here's a little life update. So I have this weird skin thing that happened over the past like 2 years where every now and then I'll just get really bad full body hives. Mm-hmm. It sucks. I feel so bad for you the whole time because you have to deal with me. I know you're like, oh, it's worse for you. And it's like, I get that.
I'm not the victim in this situation.
But you are you're collateral damage. You know, it's not fun when your boyfriend, fiance, husband is all of a sudden like all the time. Like it's not a good look. So to preface this even further, I don't like lotions.
No, you do not. And that's probably one of the bigger rifts in our relationship.
Absolutely.
Because I literally went to school for skin.
Yeah. You're all about lotions.
And so if I were to go back into that field, if I were to unretire, eventually I'm going to be like, I can't show my husband to my clients because
my skin's so ashy.
Your skin is just going to decline from your lack of lotions and serums and all that stuff.
I mean, we always say I look way older than I am, and I always have. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of things that could go into that. There's like, hairline. I have bags under my eyes. I don't really sleep. That probably doesn't help. But also my skin is definitely aging at a faster pace than most.
You actually aren't, but I just feel like eventually you will.
I mean, you're saying I'm not, but is that because you picture me as older than I actually am? So I have like really good skin for a 37-year-old?
I have more forehead wrinkles than you do.
So this week I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a change. I'm going to have the beautiful, luscious skin that everyone thinks of me as having or wants me to have. And so I got baby oil, being like, it's like nuking the skin from what I've gathered.
That's generally the safest bet you could have taken.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, just live in this. I absolutely hated it. I put it on. It feels like the room is 20 degrees warmer because it's like I'm wearing like an extra coat, but it's oil. And then wouldn't you know it, a few days ago, the hives show back up.
Yeah.
Now, the cause of it, we don't know for sure, obviously. It could be a lot of things, but a lot like your eyes burning. What's the new thing you added to the equation? The new eyelash glue. Odds are it's that. That's why your eyes are burning.
Yeah, but my old eyelash glue has been making them burn too, so I don't know.
Back to my story. So, but so I was like, okay, so clearly this is like the baby oil thing. So the hives are starting to sort of go away today. But I realized there's a real silver lining to this.
Okay.
This is proof that I had nothing to do with Diddy or his allegations.
That is true.
The amount of baby oil at these freak-offs, allegedly, was apparently like Costco warehouse level.
Uh-huh.
And
I like how you're saying this as if anyone's ever been like, well, Jack the Pool Boy was
I have to get ahead.
Around.
I'm getting ahead of the accusations.
I know, because we don't need another January 6th rerun.
Oh, yeah. I looked a lot. So there's one January 6th guy. So there was a January 6th, like,
he's a swimmer. He
was an Olympic swimmer.
He's an Olympic swimmer. And I've actually, because everyone's always like, oh, like, you look like whoever, X, Y, and Z, whatever.
Yeah.
Shaved head celebrity.
Yeah. It's always like Jason Statham. It's like, yeah.
But this one guy is legitimately.
Could be my twin.
Could be your twin. I had never seen him before. I was actually shocked that I was like, you have an actual doppelganger.
Oh, no. I look exactly like this guy.
And he was at the January 6th.
We'll put
storming the Capitol
for this episode. Go to YouTube because we'll put the picture of him up.
Yeah,
of this guy.
He is like to the point where when it was like he was at the riots because he was somewhat notable. Obviously, there was like articles that like ran about him and stuff like that. Like he was in part of the insurrection. I was like, Where was Jack on January 6th?
Where was
with
I?
him?
Where was I? I don't know. I mean, the thing is,
I looked through my camera roll and I didn't see anything notable of that day. So for all I knew, that's your hometown, DC.
It is. It wouldn't be unrealistic for me to fly there and back without you noticing. That wouldn't be crazy.
That wouldn't be crazy.
It's not like we spend 24 hours a day together.
I know.
And you were always talking. Have you thought about, I was thinking about this the other day. January 6th. Now, enough has been said about January 6th. I don't need to tell you my point of view, which is that it was not a good thing. Doesn't it look like it was the most fun you could ever have?
Oh my God, those guys had a ball.
Oh my God.
Oh, those guys had an absolute ball.
Like,
I think a lot of them should definitely be in jail the way they are, but
I think that, well, let's not get too political here. I think a lot of them, we're fighting for democracy.
no.
I mean,
There's a lot where it's like, you know what, you can't go into a government building inciting violence, but
why are you backtracking? Because on January 6th and 7th, I remember you saying this is good.
Yeah.
We were watching the news and you said good. Finally.
I said, where was my invite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were really bummed.
I know.
That's why when you saw my doppelganger there, you were like, you son of a bitch. Did you go without me?
Did you go storm the Capitol without me?
Did I do that?
You are bad.
It's like watching a movie. It's like when I watched Avatar 2 without you.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same vibe.
You got ahead in Desperate Housewives without me one time.
Yeah, well, that was during COVID when we were locked in a room and you left for like a week and we were so into Desperate Housewives. And what was I going to do? There was no sports on for me to watch. There was nothing.
You're like, what is Susan Meyer going to get herself into?
Yeah, fucking Terry Hatcher, God damn it.
God damn it, she's the worst character. Although, speaking of P. Diddy, backtracking to the baby oil, Landon Barker, Travis Barker's son,
sure,
had his 21st birthday. Like this past weekend or whatever.
Yeah. Was it a freak off?
They had a little bit of a like white party themed thing. And they had the waiters at I think it looked like they were at like Nobu or some shit.
Yeah.
Bring out baby oil.
What's going on here?
I said, what the fuck?
What's going on here?
What's going on here? Why do we think that this is a joke?
Where are the parents?
They were there. Travis and Courtney were there. Making out, of course.
Dude, they're gross. I'm like... Here's another huge difference between Michaela and myself. When we watch shows or movies or something, really shows mostly, when we're watching a show, I am so out on any of the romantic subplots. Like if I'm watching a show without Michaela, the second I'm like, okay, so I can tell this whole scene is just me about how the main character and the second main character, how they're flirting and they're going to hook up. I just literally fast forward that.
That's
I don't
crazy
care.
behavior. That's all that's what gets me through shows half the time.
Yeah, that's your favorite part.
Like, oh yeah, maybe it's a legal drama, but I'm like, but is the lawyer and this person gonna hook up?
I don't care.
I thrive on romantic tension.
What's gonna happen? It's a murder case. I want to know. I want to solve the case. I don't care.
No, we can solve the case, but also some people can kiss along the way.
But that's just extra time.
It gets me excited.
That's the fat in the show where I'm like, cut that out. Let's make it a really tight show, just A, B, C, D. And I don't know.
The only books I read are the romantic,
those are the funniest books.
Enemies to lovers. It's the same book every time. It kind of has a
every
cartoon
time.
Cover. And
it's the same exact cover. It's the same, it's minimalist.
It's the same bitch on Etsy with an iPad, and a stylist and a dream.
Yeah.
And she's doing the outline people figure thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of cartoon, kind of outline.
My favorite part about these is so they're always the same book. Like you'll be like, okay, so this new book I'm reading, and they're basically, this is the general summary. Mm-hmm. It's a girl who isn't conventionally pretty. Okay. She's like a normal girl. she's literally, it's like the not like the other girls. Like she really likes to read. Like that's her thing. And maybe that's why she wasn't popular in high school.
And they're always saying you know what? And she's kind of small. Like she's really short. So
yes.
she's definitely not a model.
Model. And her hair's crazy. She can barely
curly.
Keep the curls.
Oh my God.
It's always so frizzy.
And she's so insecure about her body because she's more curvy. But you know, what man is going to want a curvy woman with an ass, you know?
Turns out her boss,
her billionaire boss,
who's a billionaire, a trust fund billionaire, who, by the way, is 6'4", in the best shape of any man alive. He's like Lance Armstrong in 2004, but with a little bit more meat on the bones. You know, very well dressed, very popular. He's always with celebrities, very very popular. Turns out
striking blue eyes, or green.
Well, green's the real. That's where it's okay, we're about to fuck. Mm-hmm. When it's when they mention the green eyes. I feel like this is common in like books like that where they're like his eyes. All of a sudden, she knows like there's a little twinkle.
Yeah.
His eyes, like I've never once in my life ever been like somebody's eyes that I'm looking at. The eyes change, but apparently it happens all the time for these women.
Apparently,
what's going to happen? Turns out all of her quirks, her being little, her frizzy hair, her being curvy.
She's outspoken at work too, though.
She is. Mm-hmm. She doesn't play by the patriarchy rules. She doesn't. And she thought that was a negative for her, but to him,
the bosses hate her because of that.
Yeah, that's why she wasn't promoted.
Yeah,
you know that, and because she reads all the time. I swear to God, that's always a thing. They're always like, I love, and here's why: because it's fan fiction for the writer of these books. Basically, the authors of these books, you could describe the main characters as if you were describing the author to a police sketch artist with the most generous descriptions.
Yes,
like curvy.
Yeah,
or curly hair, like just.
Yeah.
That's basically what it becomes.
Yeah. And the guy is always like really standoffish and kind of like brooding and like, so she kind of gets like a bad vibe from him at first, but oh my God.
She thinks he's a jerk.
He's a jerk, but he's attractive, but like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She could never because he's such a jerk.
But wait.
But it turns out.
He's not a jerk, right?
Actually, it's just like a hard exterior.
Yeah.
Because turns out his dad is really mean to him.
Yeah. His billionaire dad who left him $1 billion in this company.
He was really hard on him because of that.
Was very strict at home. Mm-hmm. And that's his trauma.
And it turns out he actually loves to cook at home.
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it.
He wishes he could do it more.
I know. That's his true passion.
It is.
He doesn't care about
his dog. That and his Labrador Retriever. Are you kidding me?
My God. See, I'd read this book.
You've read this book. They're all the same book.
Let's write one.
No, honestly, we could. That you know how it's like, okay, whose job is AI going to replace? And the answer is fucking everybody. But those authors, honestly, they got to look out because that's the first thing I could replace.
Easily.
Give me 100,000 words. Here's the description.
Yeah.
And then just find that bitch on Etsy who makes that
cover.
A cover.
You know, maybe I should just start doing that instead of buying books. I should just put it into ChatGPT and be like, write me a story.
Do it.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you off.
Yeah.
You know how. I was going to get inappropriate with that.
While you're holding your skull mug. Your little Halloween.
I like to think of this as a ghost.
No, I wanted the ghost. These are the dupe ghost Target mugs I've been trying to get my hands on for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
And so I finally settled for like these little skeleton guys. I don't know. Very cute.
You should never have to settle.
I know, but I can't find the ghosts. So, but ghosts are all around us.
They really are.
The ghosts are the friends we made along the way.
We've had some ghost incidents. We've had a lot more ghost discussions lately.
We have.
And the thing is, again, it's like, I believe you. I do. I really do, sweetie. I just, I like to think of myself as more of like a sounding board. You tell me your ghost thoughts and fears and stuff. I'm not really going to bounce back.
Yeah.
Just because I can't.
I hold back a lot because I'm afraid that one day you're going to be like, maybe these are delusions. And
it'd have to be really crazy.
I know. So I guess like this past week. So there's like, I lived at my grandma's house, like on and off, like growing up, like we would like move in and out of my grandma's house. And so we always call my grandma's house the community center. My entire family has moved in and out of this house. It is the best. But
it's really sweet. Like the amount of people, but like, isn't it like your sister's bedroom, which now they've moved, but your sister's bedroom, like every member of your family at one point, that was their room. It's very like friends.
Yeah, no, everyone's kind of like moved in and out. Cause like my brother's in my old room, like my childhood room. And then like my sister was in like my mom's old room.
Your mom was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like we've all kind of flip-flopped around it. But basically it's like my family's like been in this house for a while now.
Yeah.
And like there was one phase where me and my mom were like living there in one room. It was like the master bedroom. And because my grandma had like actually moved out at the time. And this one specific room, the master bedroom, I always feel stuff in.
Yeah.
Like it's just always like
by feel stuff, you mean you feel
I feel a presence.
A ghostly presence.
Yes. But I'm never scared because I think it's my grandpa, even though I've never met him. Like he passed away before I was born. But like it was very much like because that was his room when he was alive. Like I would have in the middle of the night have the thing where I felt like a man was standing over me. Or when I was laying in bed, I would feel like where my feet were sink into the mattress. Like someone was sitting on the edge of the bed. That would happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like those are the two big ones. And like the thing was never scary because it didn't feel like a thing. And like, I would even sometimes like dream of him when I was in that room. Like it was very much like I felt his presence in that room. One time I got woken up by like the smell of cologne, which was weird. And like just stuff like that. But so my grandma's now back in that room. And this past weekend, she's like, I'm starting to hear, she's like, I heard some voices. I was like, it's like, okay, maybe we've been in the house for too long.
And you're worried now that it's not a friendly ghost.
That's my fear.
Who would it be?
I don't know.
Who was wronged in this house?
I don't know. Maybe it's been like a long con where they're like, let's pretend it's
you know what it could be?
A friendly ghost.
You know what it could be?
What?
Your dog, Princess.
Do you think she's upset in there?
Well, she was very. I mean, when I met Princess at the last years of her life, but you guys always talked about how Princess was very.
She was just protective,
aggressive.
We had a very reactive dog.
I love. She was just very reactive.
She was reactive. She was so sweet.
She was mostly peaceful. Is what she was.
She didn't like men.
Great. That's half the population.
Which honestly, girlfriend, I get it.
I know. If you're not going to like one, it's like, yeah, dogs not liking women. It's like, why?
Yeah.
What?
Do you feel like that's like a thing as a man? Are you always kind of like, is this dog afraid of men? Like when you meet a new dog? Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely. When we meet a dog, that and children, there is a real thing as a man, especially as a larger man. I'm aware that babies are usually kind of hesitant around me.
Yeah.
Because unless I look a lot like their dad, and even then it's kind of like they're like, Just babies in general, it's like babies, they see you and they're like, oh, pick me up. You're a friendly presence.
A lady.
I seem like large men seem like a danger. They're like, who is this monster who is 10 times my size and has a really deep voice? It's just, you kind of have to be, and so with babies, I'm always like, I don't want to make you cry.
Yeah.
Even though I love babies. But then also once they hit a certain age, I become everyone's favorite.
Once they're like kind of like 4 or 5 age, Jack is. The kids are like, you're my guy.
Yeah. And you know what the secret is? I talk to them like they're people.
Yeah.
I do not talk down to. I do not use baby voice. I don't do anything with children. I use my current vocabulary with them.
I don't. I like to baby talk. I'm like, you're so cute.
Yeah, and that's why the babies love you, but then the toddlers are kind of like, where's Jack?
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, Jack's out there. You want to help him with the lawnmower? He'll read the instructions to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it is funny though how it's like kids just like obviously naturally gravitate towards women. Like it's just like, yeah, you're safe. It's like when I'm like, I've tried to explain to you before. It's like the women's restroom is the women and children's restroom.
Yeah.
It's like half the time you're in there, if you're at like a mall or like a busy restaurant or whatever, it's like there's a kid popping under your stall being like, hey.
Well, it's the friendliest place. It's like the hotel in John Wick where it's like, there's no violence here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the hit. Nothing bad will happen in this room. The men's room is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Anything goes. Oh my God. Men's rooms, they're seedy places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I worked at a movie theater, every now and then I'd have to go clean the men's restroom.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't a fan. I was like 16. I was a 16-year-old girl being like, hello? Is anyone in there?
Men just pee on the floor.
I know. I'd go in there with a freaking mop.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, you know, the men's restroom is where one time a cop dropped his gun in the bathroom while I was on duty, and we all had to like be like shut down.
Yeah.
You know, the movie theater I worked at wasn't exactly the safest. We had the bomb squad was called our thing twice, and a cop dropped a gun.
It was when the bomb squad was when somebody like left a bag, right?
Someone literally pulled up in front of the theater in like a van, opened the door, tossed a backpack, drove away.
What was in the backpack?
It was like toiletries. But the bomb squad had to come. And then another time there was
So you're telling me that, so first you thought it was like, okay, this is like a terrorist, but then it turns out they were even worse. They were litterers.
They were litterers.
They littered.
But it was so weird. And like everyone had to be like escorted out like the back. And there was another time when there was like a safe was wedged somewhere in an arcade.
Yeah.
Like a small safe, like a metal box thing. And we're like, so
well, that's an internet mystery.
Like literally everyone was like, what's going on? But then bomb squad came, they opened it, it's full of cash. But it wasn't as juicy as we thought, actually.
Why?
In order for the theater to make more money, Sunday mornings, the local church would have like an expanded location at the movie theater where a bunch of people would come to the movies before it opened and have like a service there.
So you had to give it back to the stupid church, didn't you?
We had to give the cash back to the church.
Damn it. Church always taking our sweet found money.
Oh my God. Yeah, the movie theater was probably one of the more interesting times of my life.
That's a great job to have tons of stories.
Oh, it was great. I mean, probably the worst was when, by the way, public service announcement, we could see you in the theaters. Like, we know what's going on.
You can?
Yeah. I had to go in there one time to tell an adult couple, like, I'd say generously 40s.
Okay.
To get off of each other in the back of the theater.
Boo.
Me with my...
Let them... So why?
They probably have homes.
Because they're trying to keep it spicy, sweetie.
You in the car.
Oh my God.
I'm 16.
Oh my God. They've done it in the car. They're trying to keep it fresh. They have kids at home. What do you want them to do? You want them to get divorced? You probably want them to get divorced. You want a dead bedroom? Wow.
I have my little flashlight.
What theater was this? Regal? AMC?
Regal.
Regal doesn't like love.
And I had to take my little flashlight and walk up and be like, can you guys not do that in here?
That probably turned them on even more.
Probably.
Here's the thing: when you have a getting caught kink,
oh my God,
that's what they're going for. That's why they're being so loud and
that is
rowdy.
so not on my list of interests.
No,
absolutely not. I'm so afraid of authority.
It gives me the thrill. It makes me feel alive.
No way.
No, I don't like that either.
No way.
I don't like it either. Sometimes it feels good to just be dangerous, you know?
No, I disagree.
No.
I like the safety.
The safety and security of everything. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Especially as I get older, I'm like, I really enjoy safety.
Yeah. But here's the thing. That will fade after a certain point. You're like, hey, what? Like the spark just isn't there. And I'm going to be like, let's fuck in the movie theater. And you're going to be like, no.
Yeah.
That's what you just did. They might be divorced now.
Maybe.
Yeah. That was their last
and if
hope.
Me, 16-year-old me with a flashlight was what stood between them and divorce, I think it was going to happen.
What was the movie?
Oh, I don't remember. You know what? Maybe that's what happened. Was they were so excited by the movie.
When it was 50 Shades of Grey, were you working there? Did that even do well in the movie theater?
I think, that
did really
great. Well? I don't know if I feel like probably I worked one of the sequels for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe I did. I don't really remember.
So I feel like that's one of those movies that I'm guessing you guys kind of handed out free condoms as people were going in, right? Just to be safe, you know?
Did you know that when I first got a job there, because I was like just turned 16, I actually had to have my mom sign a permission slip that I could walk into R-rated movies.
I was about to say that too. It's like, you're 15 years old. Was this an R-rated movie? Or are you allowed to go? Like,
we had to sign like basically your parents being like, it's okay for them to go into these theaters.
I don't know how I feel about the different, like, hey, you have to be a certain age to watch certain movies. A 16-year-old should be able to go into an R-rated movie. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like once you're in high school.
Yeah, it kind of feels.
Especially now where everybody's got the internet and stuff. It's like.
I know. Who are we protecting?
Who are we, like, really? They can't watch this. I remember I got kicked out of the movie 300 when I was, I don't know how old, 13 or something. We wanted to see 300. I probably looked like I was 19 when I was 13. But I just remember going in and the movie theater person came in and was like, dude, I'm so sorry. And I was like, that's fine. I just wanted to see Leonidas kick him down the hole. It was really sick.
I know. It was really awesome.
It was awesome.
I know.
That movie changed my life.
I know.
Not really.
Speaking of actually ratings thing, what do you think plain movie etiquette is? Because on the plain
movie etiquette.
Oh, yeah, yes. Like, when you're on an airplane, what do you think etiquette is for watching movies? Because on the movie selections, half the time they have like R-rated movies.
Yeah.
But like there's children on the plane or like, you know, like, because I saw a video of someone watching Challengers on a plane the other day. That's the Threesome Zendaya movie? Yeah. That's hilarious. And I was like, that's really funny. And then I have seen something else where it was like some mom was yelling at some guy because her son was like peeking behind the seat trying to watch his screen. And it was an in-flight movie. And like he got yelled at for that. And I'm like, what do you think etiquette is for watching movies on flights? I don't think I'm going to sound like a strict person or whatever. I don't think there should be any nudity in movies on planes where people can just look over. I agree. Also, it's so uncomfortable. It's so nudity and also excessive violence. I don't think that there should be like movies like Hostel or certain like Saws. Like you shouldn't be on a plane and look over, be able to just glance your eyes over and see someone's head like explode. I agree. It's just, and also no movies about planes whatsoever. I feel like that's the third one. Yes. So it's like no nudity. It's just so weird. It's like you're watching, everybody behind you can see what you're looking at. Yes. Everybody's reading your text essentially. Yes. But it's the movie. Yeah, I don't think you should. Every time I've seen somebody watching like a really
graphic movie, I'm like, watch it at the hotel.
Yeah, one time on a plane, actually, I like always download movies to my phone because I don't like to watch on the screen because I feel so vulnerable.
Yes.
So I like just watch it on my phone. I downloaded off Netflix. What movie? Was it 365? Or no, it was Sex Life. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
It was like all over Netflix, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna download this. It was like number one on Netflix that week. And actually hadn't heard anything about it. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. That was like the only show that I downloaded to my phone. It was just porn.
It was just straight porn the whole time?
Full frontal, full everything.
Who were you sitting at? Was I with you?
Yes. And I basically was like this in the corner at his window seat, covering my phone, like brightness down. Cause I was like, I'm locked into this now.
At least you're in this. I mean, the fact that I didn't notice
that I was basically watching porn on the flight.
That would have been cool.
That made me feel really weird after, but I didn't have any other entertainment.
I find too that it's a bummer. Like I shouldn't watch certain movies for the first time, at least on planes, because I automatically associate with the plane. And so all those movies I end up being like, I actually didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because I always feel sick on planes too.
I'm always a little nervous on flights. So
yeah, you are.
Can't watch comedy. Nothing's funny. No. Nothing's funny till we land.
It's not funny anymore. It is really funny how like, I think it's, it's obviously, it probably never went away, but it's like, just for me growing up, there was every year a series of like 10 movies that came out that were basically just like, hey, this is softcore porn with a really shitty plot. Mm-hmm. And like, I was the demo. Like me and my friends, we were the demo. Where it's like, the whole point is this movie is that the actor's boobs are going to be out 25 times.
Yeah, because it's when like porn wasn't as like accessible.
Yeah.
And like, it was more like the family computer thing. And so it's like, if I could see this movie, it's burned into your mind.
Oh, absolutely.
It's burned. You don't need to see it again. It's up there forever.
And it's just, I remember having sleepovers at my friend's house. Like, what should we watch? Well, we could watch The Godfather or we could watch Eurotrip. And it's like, we're going to fucking watch Eurotrip, which by the way is a funny movie. But
that's not the point.
I told you my Eurotrip story, right?
I don't think so.
So this is the one where, so I was probably in 6th grade actually. So this was pretty young. I was in 6th grade and this was Blockbuster era, and sleeping over at my friend Edwin's house, and we were like, hey, let's go to Blockbuster, we'll get a movie for this sleepover. Great. So we go and we're with his mom, and she's really sweet, and we're like looking at all the different possible movies, and we're like, the cover of Eurotrip is literally Michelle Trachtenberg. This is it. This is the cover of Eurotrip. Michelle Trachtenberg standing there, looking a little bit off to the side, like I have it seared in my
See,
head.
it's burned into your mind.
Burned in my head with her hands like around like her bikini top, like she's about to take it off. And then right across there, it just says unrated. Mm-hmm. So clearly this looks like a really good film we'd like to enjoy.
This looks like some good film.
So we say, we're like, okay, we'll grab like a couple of movies. So we grab, one movie, who gives a fuck? And we put it on top of Eurotrip, and we're like, "Hey, Mrs. King, can we get these?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she looks and she's like, "Well, wait, what is this?" And my buddy Edwin's like he's a little bit quieter. Mm-hmm. I was more of the talker, and I just was like, "Oh, it's a really good, it's a good film." The poster doesn't do it justice. Apparently, everyone's talking about it. They're saying it's the comedy of the year. You should watch it. Actually, trying to see if she'll call my bluff.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't. I'm like, you guys are in 6th grade. She knew my mom wouldn't get mad at her, but she's like, I just can't.
Yeah.
So we had this genius idea, which was we take Eurotrip. We're like, okay, fine, I'll return it. I got some other boring ass movie, like fucking, I can't remember any movies that were out at the time, but it's like, okay, let's get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or some shit. Grab that, open it. I put the Eurotrip disc in there. So we'll get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I gave it to my friend's mom again. And she falls for it, I guess. She checks out. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The guy who works at Blockbuster, they are aware of this trick.
Believe it or not, they've seen it a couple times.
They've seen it a few times. And
especially from boys just like you.
You have to check for boys just like us. And what do you know? He opens the movie. And Eurotrip is in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing. He looks at us and he just kind of like nods, shuts it. We get it. We get to we get the DVD. But here's the thing: on the receipt, it said Eurotrip.
What a
G.
What a
G.
Like that's someone who is like this is formative for you.
The guy fucking gets it.
This is an event that has to happen in every young man's life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one that takes it away from you.
And then later
Good for him.
Later that night, we're like, okay, we think his parents went to bed. Throw in Eurotrip. And wouldn't you know it, his dad comes downstairs. The whole movie is just tits, but probably the most tits in the movie thing. He comes down and he's like, whoa. And we're like, hey, I don't know if we're saying the name. Like, hey, mister. And he's like, guys, but he's also a G, so he was like,
no, I know him. So
he said to us, he was like, you know what? You've seen one pair of tits, you've seen them all. And I remember I said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Even at that age, I was like, that's not true.
That's not true.
I just know that's not true. But we watched it. It was great. That's what it used to be like. That's how hard it used to be.
Yeah.
So all these movies would come out and you could basically go onto HBO or Cinemax or something. It's like, what movies start playing at 10:30? That's for the teenage boy sleepover crowd.
Mm-hmm. You got the Girls Gone Wild commercials going on.
Oh my God. Those commercials were great.
Yeah.
They come on around 11:45 p.m. They went till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll wait up for those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they were more infomercial. They were like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really got to sell you on those.
What a great time to be alive. I have very fond memories.
See, doesn't the scarcity, I know that's like a whole other topic, but it's like the scarcity, doesn't it make it so much more special?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying, I forget if we said it in the podcast, but it's like hearing a song come on the radio sounds better than picking that song to play on your phone.
Yes.
It just always will.
Always is.
It's just the scarcity thing of it. It's like, oh my gosh, they actually did this. I do love this song. Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting it. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These breasts are a treat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You had to savor them.
Yeah.
You had to sear them into your brain.
Yeah. You literally had to like fry them into your eyes.
Yeah. And then when TiVo came out, you could pause. Game changer.
Game over.
Game over. Oh my God. And then you have the uncomfortable thing with your buddies, and you're like, when do we press play? Because it's been paused, and everybody's kind of like, I need like another minute.
Yeah.
You know? Good times.
Good times.
Now kids have their fucking phones.
I know. You can just Google it.
They can screenshot.
Yeah.
Forget pause. Now I have it forever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Public Pool Podcast.
Welcome back.
Sorry, we're like a half hour in. Forgot to intro that.
No.
You know what this is. Although we do have some new folks this week.
Yeah.
I feel like.
We have a lot of new followers now.
Yeah. We got Sports Gossip was a hit with the ladies specifically, but
I know.
everyone. But a lot of ladies for the first time.
How great is it having women watch our content?
All I've wanted my entire career has been for women to watch my content. I've tried everything. I've made beauty channels. I made this and that. Somehow I still get majority male followers every time. I didn't think that finally when it was like, 60% of the viewers on this video were women. I didn't expect it to be about my husband speaking about sports.
What a treat.
What a treat. What a treat.
Yeah. No, it's lovely. I mean, my demo is probably more masculine than yours, which is weird because I like to think that I have a very sensible, like ladies sensible comedy styles. I like to think that every video I make is for women.
Yeah.
You know?
You like to come at everything from like the women gaze,
what's,
you know?
Yeah, what's the female gaze? The gentler perspective, you know?
You are so gentle.
I'm very gentle. I'm incredibly gentle. Just feel my dry skin. My calloused hands.
Oh my God.
I have the hands of like a mechanic.
Yeah, you do.
No, yeah, it's lovely. So we'll hopefully it keeps going, and we'll have sports gossip coming up in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything on your docket of things you want to speak about today?
Let me see. I always got rants. So you know Richard Simmons?
Of course.
He's like the 80s, I think 80s, like workout guru guy. So apparently he was buried because he died. He was buried in his like workout gear. And basically it's like, so he can help the angels get into shape. I don't even think it's controversial, but here's just a question to ask. Was he ever in shape? Every time I've seen Richard Simmons, I'm like,
he's not super in shape. I think he's more of a like, maybe like a instructor for people like me, not for you. Where I feel like he's more like for the girls, where it's like he just gets us all really jazzed up.
He never looked like he was like,
no.
Like he just, That always confused me where they're like a workout icon, like Jane Fonda. She was the first like VHS workout icon. It's like, yeah, 'cause she was in great shape.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks like an average guy who's like maybe a little thinner than usual.
I think he's like the original version of the like spin instructors where they're like, it's just all about the passion. Like where it's just, their job is just to kind of jack you up and motivate you a little bit, and less about the actual workout, I feel like.
But if the idea is that he does the workout and that gets him his current body, doesn't that make you think, okay, I should probably find a different workout that gets me a better body?
It's not about that. It's about the vibes.
Then that feels like a waste of time working out. It's like, oh, if you work out hard enough, you can get Richard Simmons' body. Like, I don't know. It always confused me. I always felt like I was taking crazy pills when people talk about that.
Sometimes it's like the coach on a team isn't always fit. But they know what they're doing.
That's an incredibly different.
But they can still coach you on what to do.
True. You know what? Okay, true. Yeah.
You know?
But to me, it's more similar to like if you're like, hey, I'm going to go get a tattoo, and your tattoo artist had a bunch of really shitty prison tattoos where you're like, maybe I should go to a different tattoo artist who's better at this, or your dentist who has like shitty teeth. Like I'm going to go to a different dentist.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this guy's very good at what he does.
Yeah, it's like when there was a point in my life a couple years ago where I was on like a bad birth control that like made me have like the worst hormonal acne. Yeah. And I never like had acne in my life before. And like I remember I went to the doctor because I was like, hey, I need to like, this is causing me to break out badly. And I remember the doctor, this is the first and only time I've ever had a man doctor. Never happening again. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, what do you do for work? And I was like, I'm an esthetician, which is like, I work on skin for a living. And he's like, huh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, bitch, that's why I'm here. I can't exactly sell myself with a face like this.
Yeah. So wait, so you're only female doctors from here on out?
From here on out.
For everything, not just like OBGYN, just general everything?
I would prefer a woman.
Doesn't that concern you? Like what if you'll probably die sooner? Like,
yeah.
There's no like, so you don't want the best doctors?
No, I don't.
You want, okay. Yeah. I just,
You should probably speak to a real doctor.
Yeah, so you go to nurses.
I go to
You like to see nurses.
I like to see nurses.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know that joke where it's like, or it's like the riddle and it's because the doctor was his mom?
Yeah, the doctor was the mom, not the dad.
I was never, like when I was a kid and I heard that for the first time, I was like, it's his mom. Like I was out past that, but it is just so funny to think that there was a time where it's like, well, she can't be his mom.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
She's a woman.
So she's not a doctor. So I just saw this headline where it's Mark Ruffalo joined the Navajo Nation's 3-mile walk to the polls. And he said, this system hasn't been fair. Mark Ruffalo's doing a lot. He's doing a lot. Just doing a little bit too much to me.
Can you look up what Mark Ruffalo is?
Like an actor?
No, like ethnically. His background.
I'm guessing Italian.
I'm also assuming Italian.
I'll tell you what he is sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Is he really takes his job as like a, like I'm sorry, like very well.
Doesn't it make you a little suspicious? Every time
I do, but I love Mark.
He goes really far with certain things where I'm like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
What are you trying to make up for?
You know? That's true. But I love Mark Ruffalo, so I can't.
Every 2 weeks, there's a new headline where he's with some other marginalized group.
He's being a voice.
Listening.
He is listening.
He's not talking, he's listening. And I'm like, what are you in trouble about? Like, he's Italian, French, Canadian, and Italian.
Okay.
It says that. So he's Italian. Okay. He's an Italian man.
I was just curious if there was something else in the mix, but I don't know. But
no.
He does the work. He was a really good, when I think of Bernie Sanders, I think potential vice president's Mark Ruffalo,
I guess. I don't know. I just, every time, I've never seen Mark Ruffalo in the news or any sort of headline where it wasn't this, like, it was this story of him walking 3 miles with the Navajo Nation and saying the system isn't fair. You could just, it's like an ad lib or Mad Lib. You could just replace certain words and it's like, yeah, that's every Mark Ruffalo headline.
I feel like the Navajo probably was like, who's this guy? Why is he walking with us?
I think they're like, no, we love the Hulk.
Or they're like, yeah, I've seen him. Why is he doing this?
That's my real question. Oh, wow, that's Mark Ruffalo. Why? Why? He's very passionate about stuff. I just wanted to bring it up. I feel like he's always doing a lot. It makes me like, what are you up to?
Oh my God. We're gonna figure out how to like watch videos on here. It's not very hard, but I just have to plan better. There was the craziest like body cam footage of this woman who got arrested for suspicion of murdering her parents.
Ooh.
She's a British woman.
Fun.
This was maybe the craziest body cam footage I've ever seen. She was completely composed, had zero fear in her eyes, zero like, oh my God, I can't believe they were like, we're arresting you because we think that you killed your parents. And she said, yeah, I did. She just goes, yeah, like, and they were like, okay, they put her in cuffs, right?
There we go. Cheerio.
Yeah. And they were like, okay, well, like, we're going to go search your house. And she's like, oh, before you do that, the bodies are upstairs. Like, just so you know, like, my dad's body's upstairs. By the way, she killed them 4 years ago. She's been living in this house with them for 4 years. And like, she obviously, it's like something's wrong up there, but it's like she wasn't.
Well, she's a sociopath.
But it's like she wasn't coming off like unhinged. Like, she just was like, I think she really had, within those 4 years, really thought about what was going to happen and was kind of like, you know, when they finally come knock at the door, I'll just be like, yeah.
At a certain point, she might feel freer.
Yeah. And that's kind of what she got. And like, they were like, oh, like what? And she's like, yeah, my dad's body's upstairs. It's like, my mom's a little bit more complicated.
My mom,
like,
funny story.
Yeah. She's like, that. Literally, she was like, it's a little bit more complicated. Like, I tried to like dispose of it a little bit. She's like, so there's like, this part's going to be here. She's like, there's still like blood in like the area or whatever. Like, I tried to clean it, but like she just was so whatever.
She's not a cleaner.
Like,
she's not a good cleaner.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that gift.
And like, they're like, the body cam footage is like, so obviously the officers are like kind of disturbed. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
She goes like, don't be sad. Like, you got the bad guy. Like, she's so
This is horrifying.
I was like, this is the crazy. She seemed so normal. Like, I literally think she was like, I did this.
Good for you guys.
Like, I think she was like, I did this. I think she probably lived in fear for like a year. Like, all this guilt, I think she literally processed it and was like, you know what? When they finally come for me, I think I'm just going to be like, yeah.
Why fight it?
Like, why fight? I'm just going to live it out until I get caught. And then it's game over. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Murderers don't get on the girl boss list. Yeah. But I was like, she kind of was like, okay.
Yeah.
She took the consequences of her actions.
Girl boss. Yeah.
You know, she accepted the...
Girl bosses take responsibility.
Girl bosses do take responsibility.
That's what the real girl bosses do.
Yeah.
So Tom Holland.
Okay.
You just announced a non-alcoholic beer line.
Okay.
Celebrities have gone too far with these things.
I agree. Why do all celebrities need an alcohol company?
I think money, but that's my thought is like, it's not even an alcohol. You're doing non-alcoholic beer. Not like, as someone who loves beer. And here's the thing. I absolutely get it. If you have like,
I love beer.
I do love beer. I still do. I still drink beer. Shout out to
Automatic.
Automatic still is. This shout out to Brett Kavanaugh, AKA Michaela's Hall Pass. Yep.
That's up there with you being like, what was that? When you were like, Harvey Weinstein's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I immediately apologized. I'm like, oh my God, he had pneumonia. I was like, so sad news. It's always sad news when somebody's sick. I don't care who you are. I don't like when people get pneumonia.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tom Holland, non-alcoholic beer. It's like, okay, I get it. I don't get it. So I do enjoy beer. I'm a beer drinker. Mm-hmm. I can't see, the thing is though, because I've never had like an alcohol problem, like people who do have an alcohol problem, like I get being like, I'm going to have a non-alcoholic beer when other people are drinking. I get that.
Absolutely. But it stops the question. It makes you feel more comfortable.
For stopping the question, yes.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't really get it. If anything, I feel like I'm just sort of teasing myself by being like, this thing reminds me of when I used to drink. I'm constantly thinking that. And it's like, okay, so Tom Holland has never drinking. He liked the taste of beer?
What?
I feel like beer, the flavor of beer only works if you've had a lot of like alcoholic beers. Like who's enjoying a non-alcoholic beer that doesn't drink? That sounds awful.
Like I just like the taste. What?
That's a psycho.
It's like, I just like tequila for the taste.
That's pretty hardcore, actually.
Yeah. Gets me up in the morning.
Oh, Everclear wakes me right up. I dig that.
I am just, it's really interesting because I'm like, I understand more celebrity product lines in terms of like makeup, perfumes, colognes, like products like that, because you like just the overhead costs are so much less. I feel like alcohol, it just costs so much money to make, like versus what you make back. Like it just like the production feels so much harder.
I think it is. I don't know. That just to me, it also felt like how much non-alcoholic beer are they selling?
I know.
Because
also too, I would buy from a brand that's an established brand, not a new.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a label I've never seen before.
But Spider-Man's selling it.
Spider-Man's selling it.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this to obviously like stop the questions or whatever, it's like you're gonna do like one of the Heineken ones.
I want it to look like a Heineken can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halloween's coming up. What are your thoughts on Halloween costumes? Like, so we're going to a Halloween party. Okay.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, what should we dress as a couple, as individuals? How big is the question of like how sexy and slutty the costume is? How much of a factor is that in choosing the costume?
Incredibly.
Because I feel like it has to be.
It's the sluttiest day of the year.
That's what I agree.
Real. Let's all be super slutty on Halloween.
Yeah.
You've got to be slutty or funny.
Yeah.
Because, okay.
I'm going to prude shame right now. The funny girl who goes as a hot dog every year, there's like 5,000 of you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we get it.
Do you know what I'm not okay with?
Dress like a whore.
Yeah, dress like a whore.
Oh my God.
What I'm not okay with, honestly, and I know that this is not a popular opinion, people are now choosing costumes that are way too fucking niche. I hate having to ask people, what are you? Don't be like, oh, well, I'm this character from the show about regular people, like lawyers or something. And it's like, nobody knows what you are.
Yeah, I agree.
You could do it online as like, I'm taking a picture and then posting it online, and then people can be like, oh yeah, I get it. If you're going to a party and you're like, why don't you get what I am? I'm wearing a suit and tie and from this very popular show. I'm like, nobody knows. You got to do an obvious costume. That's my rule. You got to be obvious.
And sometimes though, they'll be like, they'll put like a quote on, they'll be like, you're in a suit and tie, and they put like the iconic quote of a show I've never seen on there. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I agree. Don't get it. I think it's stupid.
That's my rules. You got to be slutty and obvious, or funny and obvious.
Yeah.
Or just obvious.
Or funny and slutty.
Funny, slutty.
I just think obvious. Slutty is a really important factor
30,
to it.
flirty, and thriving.
Yeah. I just feel like that's what the day is for. And it is really funny looking up Halloween costumes on like Amazon. Cause it's like when, you know how like whenever we go anywhere and you have to get new bathing suits, you've said basically there's a real problem now of finding bathing suits for women that aren't thongs.
Yes.
They're all just ass things.
Everything's up the butt.
Yeah.
And it depends where we're going, what the group is.
Yeah.
If we're like, oh, we're all going to a pool party at like our friend's house, then yeah, I'm cool wearing a thong.
Ass out.
These are my friends. Okay.
Yes.
We're all friends here.
Yeah.
You can see my butt.
Yeah.
If I'm going to like a family beach day,
I just
want my butt covered a little bit. I don't need it to be a thong.
But they like don't sell them anymore.
No.
And it's similar with Halloween costumes now, where it's like, if you're like, hey, I'm looking up like a princess costume, anything like that, it's like, imagine Cinderella, but like she was a dirty whore.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like she had even worse father issues.
Yeah.
That's the Cinderella costume. And then they'll have like the matching men's costume. And it's just like,
he's a prince.
Perfect Prince Charming costume. Like exactly replica, but terrible quality of material. And it's like, those two that's what Halloween costumes has become now. And I absolutely love it.
Yes.
I think it's a great day for men. It's a day men should celebrate.
I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday.
Yeah. I don't love it just because it's scary sometimes, but the costume part of it is I'm all for.
Or you can go as scary. Be scary too.
I don't know. I don't like scary stuff. Okay, are you ready for this week's sports gossip?
Hit me, sister.
Okay, so if you don't know this segment, just to remind you, I love football. You don't love football. I found that the only way that I can actually get you interested in football is if I deliver the news to you like it's gossip.
Yes.
Okay, so this week, I'm going to be explaining why... Sorry. Okay, so this week, I'm going to be explaining why Nick Sirianni is the Britney Spears of the NFL.
Britney Spears, okay.
Yeah.
I love some B Spears.
Who doesn't?
Right?
Oh my God. Free Britney. Okay, so Nick Sirianni is the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, aka the team that Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother used to play for.
Okay.
So he's been the coach for 4 years. And before I even go any further, let me just So his reputation has always been like a little bit sus.
Okay.
You know, he kind of gives off like frat boy vibes and not necessarily in a good way.
I'm already getting the ick.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 4 years ago was his first season as the head coach. Okay, and this was like his Mickey Mouse Club era, if we're sticking with the Britney Spears analogy. Okay, it's like he was kind of whatever. Like people like noticed him, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like who's this person? But the following year, 2022, that was his glow up. Okay, this is his hit me baby one more time era. Like, put it this way, that chapter in his biography could be titled The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay.
That's where we're at, okay? He takes the Eagles all the way to the Super Bowl. They like just barely lose. They're the hottest offense in the NFL. And everybody's like, Nick Sirianni, you can do no wrong. Go off king.
Go off king.
Okay, so they like barely lose the Super Bowl. So the following year, 2023, everybody's like expecting him to be like, oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
And they were right, okay? The first 10 games of the season, they're just smoking the competition. They are the hottest offense in the NFL still. And they're like, again, Nick Sirianni, he can do no wrong. But then we start hearing some rumors that he's starting to, in football terms, lose the locker room. We start hearing rumors that he and his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, are not exactly on speaking terms.
They're not besties?
They're not besties anymore. Breakup. They lose 6 of their final 7 games, including getting embarrassed in the playoffs. The first round of the playoffs to a team that everyone was like, you should have beaten the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they didn't. They lost. It was really embarrassing.
Flop era?
Okay, his flop era. That's exactly it. He was in his flop era. Okay. And so after the season, all of a sudden, you know, Nick Sirianni, everybody's like favorite pop girl, is persona non grata. Everybody's like, they're going to fire him. He's no longer welcome. Bye, 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 as NSYNC would put it. But for whatever reason, the Eagles were like, no. You know what? Let's just like everybody calm down. Nick, you're still the head coach, but you're not really going to be in charge of anything, which I know what you're thinking. So what does he do? And that's like the real question, because nobody really knows what he does anymore. He's not in charge of like anything as far as like the team is concerned. He's just sort of there.
Is he moving in silence like all the hype beasts?
You would say that, except he's actually been very loud with about everything. Like I said, like real frat boy energy. You know, he always gives kind of weird faces. And so this season, the Eagles have been doing like, I mean, they're 3-2, but at the same time, it's like all 3 wins were kind of like shitty wins against shitty teams. Nobody was like really impressed. And this past Sunday, he's officially entered his Britney meltdown era. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, you mean like when she like shaved her head and got in a fight with like the paparazzi and just started yelling at them? What if I told you that this past Sunday, Nick Sirianni showed up, shaved head, and he ends the game by getting into a verbal altercation with his own fans, his own Philadelphia Eagles fans. And so now everybody's like, I think next step is conservatorship. And then we're going to be in our free Nicky era, but I really don't think we're going to get there because he's kind of a douchebag and nobody hates him.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be arguing with your fans.
It's just so random to show up with a shaved head.
No, literally, that's so random.
It's like, I don't know. It was just like, look at me. It was just real pick me vibes.
Yeah, that feels like he's trying to be like, I'm like rebranding.
And it's failing.
Is it like, it's almost like a post-breakup haircut that girls do where they're like, I'm going to go get bangs because Brad screwed me over.
That's exactly what it's like.
And he's like, I'm going to show Brad that I look even better.
He's like, I'm going to show Jalen that I still got it.
I've still got it.
But he doesn't got it anymore.
Jalen's like not even looking at his Insta story anymore. So he's just kind of like begging for attention.
He had a really sharp rise, and now he's like, his downfall is kind of like historic. Like it's not Diddy level, it's Katy Perry level. Like think that closer to that. It's not Diddy.
It's Katy.
But it's close.
Yeah.
It's Britney. Yeah.
Dang.
I know.
Girl boss down. Diva down.
Diva down.
And we are this week, full disclosure. We are shooting a little bit early because we have to go to a wedding this week. So if there is any major sports goss, we might be missing it because we're shooting
next week.
Yeah, we're shooting this on like a Monday, and like
we'll do a double segment next week.
Double seg. Yeah. Okay. So today I've decided I'm going to give you like a little quiz.
Okay.
And this is more for the YouTube viewers. I apologize if you're audio because this is a picture slideshow.
Okay.
You know, because you're always giving me so much football and sports gossip, and like I'm trying to retain all the info. Usually to you, I'm trying to give you all these pop culture type things. So today I actually just wanted to show you a slideshow of the different women rappers that I'm constantly talking about.
Yes.
And seeing if you could actually
name
who it is. There's only a few, and they're all people that you know.
Yeah, no,
you know
definitely.
their names. They're not random ones that you haven't heard from my mouth.
I actually think I'm going to do better on this than you think.
I think so too. And I only did a few, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Because if you do really good, that just means I have to go harder. So
no, I think that's why I was like, no, you can go hard. Like I will recognize. Honestly, I think I'm going to do pretty well at this. That might be the one bummer.
yeah, let's see. Well, and then we'll cut it if you do.
This is a very well done slideshow, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I worked
much.
really hard on this, so press space bar. So number 1.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do as well.
You're
Okay, number 1. Okay.
And then let me know if you need any hints, because I can give you hints.
Okay, number 1. No, I think it's Megan Thee Stallion.
Correct.
See, I'm thrown off because I know that she's tall because you explained to me that a stallion is a tall woman.
A tall, curvy woman.
Tall, curvy woman. They're referred to as stallions.
Stallions.
I like it.
Yeah.
I know Megan Thee Stallion.
I wanted to show you full body, but I almost was like, that's just going to give it away.
It'll give it away if you show me, because she's like, what, 6 feet?
I think she's probably like 5'10" or so.
Yeah, okay.
Like she's tall.
She's like a Bronco.
She's a stallion.
Yeah.
Or a woman.
She's a stallion woman. Oh, shit. Okay, next one. Oh, my God. Fuck.
You know this person very well.
I do. Oh, wait. Doja Cat.
Yeah. Look at you.
Okay. But this is harder than I thought because I didn't just immediately recognize.
Yeah.
Because she used to have like a buzz cut.
Yeah. No, she kind of changes her look up a ton.
Yeah.
She's really cool. You are a big fan of Doja Cat.
I do.
You love the song Rules.
I love the song Rules.
Yeah.
That, and then I'm not going to say the other person who I like because I literally, when I'm like, I'm a fan, it means I like one of their songs. Okay. Next one. I think it's Nicki. I think it's Nicki Minaj. I get her and Cardi B confused.
Lock in your answer.
Lock in.
That is Nicki Minaj.
I got it from the pink because she's pink, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pink Friday.
I listen.
Look at you. What tour did we go to? Do you remember that? What it was called?
The like, I really need money at this time tour.
No.
The like, no. That wasn't it. The, I shouldn't be doing this tour if I'm not in shape enough to put on a show for 2 hours and have to constantly have 15-minute breaks. That was the worst concert we've ever been to.
I'm really glad I got to see Nicki Minaj in my lifetime.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a fan, that would maybe be one of the worst nights of my life. That was really bad.
I felt a little bit like, because I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it in the way where it's like when I was a kid, I remember my dad took my brother and I to see the Pokemon movie. Mm-hmm. And my dad said that was the worst movie he'd ever seen. But he enjoyed going because he liked that his two of his sons were loving it. Mm-hmm. I kind of had that joy where I was like, but you're loving it, so this is great.
The Nicki Minaj concert, it started so much later than it should have. There was a point where you asked me, at what point do we just leave?
It was like, we got there at like 8.
Yeah, they were like, doors open at 7. We had a drink before we even went to the venue because we're like, let's kind of linger.
The opening act came on at like 9:30 and was off at like 10.
No, like I feel like he came on at like 10. It was crazy.
10. But there was like an hour and a half break between when he was done and Nicki coming out. It was just a very strange experience.
It was and it was tough too because we all were like, let's go get drinks. Like I was drinking. And so then, especially after like her opener was
You kind of
gone,
sobered up.
I sobered up and I was sleepy.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready to go to bed. Like that was the weirdest.
Yeah. I was trying really hard to not say we could just go back because I knew that I wanted to be a positive energy at Nicki's tour. Nicki, be better. Okay.
It was Gag City, by the way.
Gag City.
Gag City.
We're in Gag City now, man.
Okay. So this next slide is
The world's
2
going
people
great.
on it.
So because there's 2 people, I'm going to guess that it's the City Girls.
That's right.
Okay. And their names. I know there's Young Miami. I really listen to you.
Yeah,
when
you do.
You talk and I listen. Young Miami. And is it like Rocco? What is it? JT. But you know what I mean? It's like a name. It's like
Rocco?
They like don't like, you know what I mean? Where it's like Young Miami and then Jason. Like it's not like Young Miami and Fat Trell. Like it's you know. Okay. So those are the City Girls
who are currently not really together.
Well, one of them's going down with Diddy, and the other one served time in prison, or was the was a prison entity the same one?
No, they're different.
Checkered past.
Yeah. But doesn't that kind of make you believe their music a little bit more?
No, I don't. Well, their music, sweetie, like you play songs. Here's the thing about the ones I've named so far. So we have Megan, Doja, Nicki. The City Girls, I don't think they're very good at music.
I love the City Girls.
I know.
It's so fun. They make fun music.
I feel like they're yelling at me.
Yeah, that you're poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, all their songs are kind of like, hey, if you're a poor man, you don't deserve pussy.
But they're not, well, no, not that too, but I'm saying like, I feel like they're yelling at me, but not in like a way that sounds good. I feel like I'm just like, I'm in a room I like to get out of where people are fighting with each other. And I'm like, I don't need to be here.
It kind of brings me some peace.
Then good. I like whatever you like. I'll see the City Girls.
Well, we can't.
They'll be back together, sweetie.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Then the next one's Cardi B. I know that because I eliminated the Nicki Minaj.
That is true.
Thing. These is bloody shoes. Ever since I heard that one line, I liked that song. Okay. Next slide.
Okay.
That's Bad Baby. I know her from the memes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to throw her in there just for funsies.
So she's white.
She is.
Okay. Just double check. She's a white woman.
She's a white woman. Yes.
Interesting.
I thought I'd throw her in.
She ever gets accused of anything Awkwafina gets accused of?
I think it's one of those things where there's like a subsect of white girls where it's like they're just so in it that
Is
it's like.
she real? Is that the thing?
You just kind of know.
She actually is real.
She might be real. And you know what? Her music's fucking good. And I don't want to hear any. Like Gucci Flip Flops is so good.
I kind of called that. Everybody's like, yeah, she's going to try to become a rapper. And I was like, I bet she'll be good. What I know about the current state of the rap game, I think she has enough to stand out.
Yeah.
She's clearly good with words.
Yeah.
That's what she got famous for. Mm-hmm. And those words, like the way that she talks has become what, especially, like she's basically City Girls.
Yeah. She's what Alabama Barker's trying to be.
Landon Barker's sister? Mm-hmm. Bama Barker?
Bama Barker.
Do they call her Bama?
Probably.
You gotta.
Yeah, she's really into the whole I'm trying to be black but like not
perfect,
but pretending that's not what I'm doing thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what is going on right now?
Was her mother like Armenian, or was her mother like, tell me her mother was Irish and she's just white as fuck? She's Chet Hanks?
Blonde woman.
She's Chet Hanksing it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
God, I love Chet Hanks.
He's the real deal too.
He released some music too. Not bad either.
Well, yeah. I don't think it's very hard. I don't think it's really, let's be real.
You know what?
This day and age, I think that it's all the beat, and I think you can buy a lot of beats, and I think there's a lot of people who are really good at making beats, and I think that that's what we're listening for, and sometimes there's like a poem that goes over it.
Yeah.
And then obviously that most people, the really good rappers, it's different. Mm-hmm. There's just are so many rappers now that eventually the average just kind of becomes like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just love to meet and talk to Chet Hanks. If we had like an interview type podcast, I think I would love to have like on the same episode, maybe like a Chet Hanks and like a JoJo Siwa. Like I'd like to have like one big conversation with both of them.
And just throw out subjects.
I would like to get their, like, I would just like to be like, what's your guys' opinions on blank? And just
all over the place.
I feel like they could find common ground faster than we think.
Yeah. What's your opinion on Planned Parenthood / Jared Leto, as far as jokers are concerned? Where's he in your ranks? Like, I want to throw in questions where it's all over the place, and they don't know what's going to hit them.
Yeah.
So baseball. In baseball, the pitcher. This is what I've been thinking of. Like, if we were in an interview podcast like that, the pitcher's goal is to strike you out or just get you out, and the most common pitch is the fastball. They throw the ball as fast as they can down the middle. But then there's like the changeup, which looks like a fastball.
Wait, pause.
Yeah.
Are they not always trying to throw the fastest ball?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Game changer. We'll get into this later because they're different pitchers. So like the fastball, they're throwing as fast as they can. The changeup to the hitter, it looks like it's a fastball, but then it slows down like after it leaves. So you swing ahead of it because you think the ball's going to get to you faster. It doesn't. That's what a changeup is. Curveball, slider, those are you turn your wrist and so the ball drops when you throw it. It's kind of like throwing a wiffle ball type thing.
Okay.
Anyway, I like to think of if and when we have an interview show, I want to kind of be like a pitcher. I'm trying to strike you out.
Okay.
And I'm going to be throwing to you, okay, what's your thoughts on immigration? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Sorry. What's your least favorite color? Why? What did you go as for Halloween? What should people never go as for Halloween?
Yeah.
Like just.
What's your most controversial Halloween costume?
Yeah. What do you not want the world to know? Yeah. Tell me.
Have you ever had a controversial Halloween costume?
I went as my controversial Halloween costumes are all things that I think they're controversial in the way of like, fuck that guy. I went as Dr. Fun. I wore Dr. Scrubs for like 7 years. I like to be comfortable.
I know you do.
And it works. So that's all my controversial. No, I never went as anything good.
I went as Black Panther one year.
You did?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the year it came out.
You went as Black Panther?
I did. Thought it would be fun. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was
just like, what's the most random?
I was like, what?
You're like, I think I would have heard that by now.
I feel like you would explain, like, yeah, I went as, the popular superhero Black Panther.
Like, is that something that I would get in trouble for? Like, I don't think so.
No.
Because
you could if you went blackface.
Well, yeah. Well, that's different.
That'll do it.
What if you just wore the costume?
No.
Yeah.
No, although I'm sure there are certain costumes. I'm sure there are certain like black costumes where it's like, basically if you do the Nancy Pelosi putting on the garb and kneeling, the traditional, I think if you went in traditional African garb, I think that would be.
Would it be offensive if I went as Nancy Pelosi doing that for Halloween?
No. Because you're doing the same, you're doing the like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder thing.
Yeah.
You're making fun of
Yes.
it. So you're fine.
Okay.
So you're absolutely fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna write that costume down.
Isn't it so funny how many like political figures, how many famous figures have pictures of them in blackface?
Dude, like what?
What?
It's like, I feel like in order to be famous, they're like, do you have a picture of you in blackface? They're like, oh,
Right?
yeah. And they're like, okay, cool, you could be famous. Is that what we're missing?
What? It's the most, every time.
When I saw the Ted Danson picture like a month or two ago, I was like, I've never seen this before.
And weirdly, that's the only one where I was like, okay, he dated Whoopi Goldberg and she.
I feel like she maybe approved it, but
I think she told him to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Which again,
still crazy.
Like I have a handicapped friend who's in a wheelchair. Every time I see him, he says, you should make fun of people in wheelchairs. And I say, no. And then he says, come on, I'm giving you a pass. You can do it. I'm like, you don't speak for the wheelchair community. And even more so, it's not about the wheelchair community. It's the non-wheelchair community that's going to step in and be like, not okay.
Yeah.
It's the people who do that. It's always like,
we have the one sketch that we like filmed it and it like, but I thought was so funny and it just wasn't, it didn't turn out right the way we filmed it. Remember blind people kissing?
Oh yeah. Basically the sketch was, the bit was just the title, blind people kissing. And it's just us missing each other's mouths the whole time. And then it was going to cut to me and I was going to say, before you start being like, this is offensive, who's it hurting? They can't see it.
Yeah.
And that was, because that's the truest thing.
Was it.
Like I swear to God, if we made fun of like those uncontacted tribes, people would be like, stop it. And it's like, they'll never see it. What are you protecting them for?
Who's going to be offended?
Who's going to be offended? Just keep going if you're that hurt by, man, those tribes are cool though.
I know.
They're always like things like, no, don't go near them.
Yeah. And it's always like, yeah, like once like every 2 years, like, oh yeah, this person tried to go and they got killed.
They're always trying to bring Jesus to them.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you're going to get shot with arrows.
Yeah. And then every now and then it's almost like when there's like there's a video of a chimpanzee using a tool where it's like the person will boat to them with a metal boat. And then 2 years later, they'll do satellite images and they now have the ability to make steel.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
What happens next? What happens? I don't know.
What if we did like a controlled experiment on an island where we gave like chimps the tools and supplies? Mm-hmm. Do you think that they would build things? Like if we gave them like nuts, bolts, and like metals and like all that stuff, like I feel like they would eventually figure out how to build something.
I think they would be like, this is the best weapon ever. I think everything becomes a weapon.
They just beat the shit out of each other.
Or they fuck it. That's basically what they would do.
Yeah. Chimpanzees are so scary.
They're terrifying. We don't need them.
We don't need that. I was like, I don't need to watch that new like chimp show. Not gonna.
Chimp crazy?
Yeah, no thanks.
Because at least in the Tiger King one, it's like, oh yeah, the tiger bit the arm off. Uh-huh. And it's like, okay, quick, done, over. The chimpanzee stuff, it's just like, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I remember like when I was super young, mm-hmm. I like heard like the 911 audio of like one of those people who were like attacked by a chimp. And I was like, To this day, I'll like have nightmares about it.
I know.
It's one of those where I'm like, I'm gonna block that out of my mind.
That makes sense.
Don't look it up if you haven't heard it.
It makes me. I would have guessed that you had heard that audio as a young impressionable child. Like it explains you a little bit.
Yeah, I think I heard it after. It's so funny. I like so much of my like knowledge on things was
being terrified by things.
Well, no, because Oprah would have people on her show.
Why were you watching Oprah?
I loved Oprah. Me and my mom loved Oprah.
Yeah, and that explains a ton too. It's why you're scarred. She always brings on these sad.
She brought on like a chimpanzee, like attack victim, and like they talked and like that was like my first time. Oprah, like one time she did like a special about like all the trash in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. You're like, we got to fix this.
I literally was like, how do I fix this? I was like 6, and I was like,
good for you.
I literally like.
You could have been Greta.
I wanted to be like all of my like.
What happened? Your mom said no, you can't not go to school.
Well, all these like drawings in my room were literally just like, please recycle, save the earth.
That's so sweet.
That's all I would draw. I was just drawing.
That's so sweet.
You know, I was making a difference.
You did.
I did.
On non-recyclable paper.
One time I wrote a letter to the president too.
That's so sweet.
But
did you get anything back?
No, we didn't actually send it. Apparently, I found it later. But I wrote a letter to the president about why I think dogs should be allowed to bark in backyards without getting in trouble.
And your mom didn't send it? That's so weird.
I remember reading it years later and I was like, what was my point?
What did you think the president was going to do? What did you think?
You know what? But
she's right.
Like, it's not illegal for dogs to bark in backyards.
Was this Obama or Bush probably?
I think it was Bush.
Yeah, he had a lot of other stuff on his plate.
Yeah.
I was probably like 20th on his list.
Yeah.
People should be mad at dogs for barking.
Yeah. I think it was because we had like a feud with my neighbor who lived behind us. Mm-hmm. Because again, my reactive dog Princess, she liked to bark. And she was a loud barker, I will say that.
I'm on your neighbor's side, I'm not going to lie.
And you won't be in a second.
Why?
They started throwing watermelons at her.
Full watermelons?
Full watermelons. They were throwing watermelons in our backyard. We had cracked open watermelons in our backyard. They were throwing CDs, like frisbees, into the backyard.
Because watermelons at first, I was like, that's kind of whimsical.
That'll kill you. No, actually, that's your dad's favorite clip is the lady on on The Amazing Race getting hit with the watermelon.
My dad can't stop watching that video. Her getting hit in the face with a watermelon. But like watermelons are like, I don't know, they kind of explode. Like they're a funny fruit.
They are a funny fruit.
And they're easy to crack. Not nice to throw them, but then throwing CDs. Yeah. I could probably pinpoint the exact year when this happened because it's when CDs started losing their value. CDs, when you used to have to, I just remember I was around for the CD thing for like a year. And then it was like iTunes. But the CD thing is like you'd go to Tower Records. They were like $30.
Oh yeah. I'd save my allowance and my mom would take me to like Office Depot or whatever. Yeah. And they would just have the CDs.
You're not just going to throw a $30. You're basically throwing $30 at the thing. It's like, it must have been iTunes era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't know, but yeah, they were. And then my dad went and yelled at them and never happened again.
Love that move.
Because he's a scary man.
Yeah, absolutely love that move. It's a shame the president didn't get involved.
I know. The president should have.
Oh, and by the way, so last episode, we asked you to leave us comments about any just sort of like stories of like crazy relatives. Like who's your crazy relative and what have they done?
Yeah, because we said send this podcast to your most controversial relative.
Yes.
We want them on our side.
We want them on our side. And we're basically... Michaela's I'm going to be the defense and you're going to be the prosecution of this relative. We're going to work it out. We got some comments. We didn't get around to it today, but we've more comments and stuff about crazy relatives. We're going to be doing it for next week's episode.
Yeah. Just tell us about your crazy relatives.
Yes.
And you're going to defend them.
I'm going to defend them.
Yeah.
I'm going to see things through their shoes, through their eyes.
But yeah, so please like and subscribe, send to your craziest relatives and, yeah, that's kind of it.
Towel off. Get out of the pool.
Bye, guys. Kisses.
See ya.